exciting moment as always, having the opportunity to do this podcast every single day. And I can tell you that I enjoy it very much. I enjoy, learning and then sharing. And as always, this is only possible thanks to my friend, my partner, my mentor, who is with me every day, sharing also his knowledge, Mr. Hubert Humphrey. Hubert, how are you today?
I'm doing great today. It's a wonderful day. You know, we always look for tomorrow, mañana. It never comes because it's always today. And I'm glad it's today, and we can be with all these great entrepreneurs who are looking to make their dreams come true.
I like that. Tomorrow does not exist. Tomorrow never comes, huh? It's always today. It's always today.
Always today. Mañana
Awesome.
Mañana is a myth.
Mañana is a myth. So just remember that, guys. You know, we definitely get a lot of paradigm shifting in these podcasts. Let's talk about Mozone today. I'm very blown away by how I've seen you use the Mozone to build gigantic organizations throughout the last 3 decades. And I don't know, did you invent it, Mozone? I mean, I've never seen that anywhere else. I mean, it's Mozone. I know it's for people that don't know. Maybe why don't you tell us what Mozone is, just to get started, kind of prepare the terrain here as we get into the meat of the topic of Mozone.
Well, let's talk about Mozone. I came up with that phrase. It's the momentum zone. It's momentum is mo. You know, in a lot of the sports analogies, when you got big mo on your side, that means you got momentum on your side. So I call it Mozone. And as a little boy, I used to watch the Twilight Zone, an old TV show, and Rod Serling had the Twilight Zone. He says, "You're now entering the Twilight Zone." And so I always thought about the Twilight Zone, and then I had momentum. And in business, I said, let's have the Mozone. And so momentum zone or Mozone, that's a great subject. I look forward to diving into it here today because to me, you can have two people doing the very same thing. One's got Mozone and one doesn't. One wins, one is just average and ordinary. It was because of Mozone is a paradigm shift. Of all the paradigm shifts you got to have, this is an important one. In fact, if those people that are in business with me and know anything about me and our leadership format system, our system is broken down into 3 basic divisions: a recruiter's mentality, a builder's mindset, and then a director of motivation. A director of motivation is a person that's directing Mozone, that's creating Mozone, that's directing it toward people, directing people to Mozone. I learned a long time ago, Mauricio, that you don't recruit people to a company, to a product, or to a concept. You recruit them to an environment, to an atmosphere, and it's a heart-to-heart type of thing, and you really just need to work about doing it. And Mozone starts with you individually. Walking. When I see Mauricio, you're a good example of Mozone. You're a high energy guy.
Okay.
You always look good. You always talk good.
Thank you.
You when you walk with energy. You move with energy. You care about how things look. You care about environment. You want to make it. You want people to feel good for having an experience. I mean, that's all of this is Mozone. Just the staging of a podcast. It's one thing to have a podcast you listen to, but the fact that you can watch it on YouTube, that's an extra element of Mozone. So it's all these little things about the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you set your stage. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to create Mozone. If you talk slow, talk faster. I'm from the South, and I can talk faster. Man, I can talk fast as Mauricio if I had to, but I don't have to. So,
wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of information right there. Let me see if I can break it down into small pieces. Because first of all, momentum, people could interpret that in many different ways. Many entrepreneurs have heard that probably one of the most difficult things in business is getting momentum. Catching on momentum. But you can't get momentum unless you get a lot of people excited of doing things, in my opinion. And so. It's interesting to hear how you came up with the concept and the whole concept that you just described. But why is it that critical? Like, I see it that it's kind of like the base of everything that you do and everything you've done in the past with the companies is that create these environments that really create emotional stirs. It creates emotional spikes in the people that attend these events. And that is done on purpose. It's not just to look good. There's probably some deeper paradigm behind that. And that's what I want to get to.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. It's an energy force. It's a fuel that drives. It can take a little person who's never been in business, who's scared to death, doesn't know anybody, doesn't think they can sell, don't think they know anybody, don't know anything about anything, maybe don't even understand quite what you're telling them. But the one thing they've got is that the one thing that I know, everybody, I don't care who you are, you want a little more out of life. You want a little more happiness, a little more of this, a little more of that. You want more. The word more is synonymous to all of us in life. And the more, if you look like you're happy, if you look like you're satisfied, or not satisfied, but you look like you're happy, it looks like you've found some success. See, you can be a brand new person just starting out, and you're trying to get some people to follow you or to join you. If you just let them know by the smile on your face, just the way you talk, just to say, look, I can't even, I'm stuttering, I'm stammering, I can't even tell you what I've seen something, you got to see it. That's Mozone. Just me stammering and stuttering, that's Mozone. They're going to say, well, I don't know what's wrong with that guy, but I'm going to listen to him, and I'm going to go.
Yes.
He can't tell me, but would you please tell me? See, the guy that recruited me.
Why is he so excited about that? Right?
Hey, listen. You know how I got recruited in financial services? The little part-timer, and I've told this story a little bit on other podcasts. The little part-timer whose father called me and said, "It's my little son Ronnie here that you and I both know. He needs to get out of this mess he's in, and he's found something. I don't know what it is. He wants to talk to you about it. He admires you, respects you." I said, "Yeah, let him come on by." He comes by. And he couldn't even tell me the right name. He told me the name of the company was A.R. Williams. It's A.L. Williams. He didn't even know the name of the company. He didn't know anything. All he had was a little legal pad and a flare pen, and he just wrote down 2 or 3 things that they had told him to write down. Yeah. And he knew how to say, give me your old policies, and so I can have somebody look at them. I didn't know what that meant. So he didn't know anything. And then he shows me that buy term and invest the difference was better than the whole life. And so I said, well, hey, take a look at it. He goes, but here's how I get recruited. First of all, I was impressed that this little guy who was just starting was showing me some concepts that semi made sense. Even though he wasn't explaining them well, it made sense. The math looked better. And I said to myself, I said, I'm sophisticated. I know a lot of things. How did he know that? Well, then he comes back to see me a couple of weeks later with the proposal, the analysis, and then he writes up the policy. And I said, Ronnie, how are you doing? Because I noticed when he walked in the door, from the time I saw him 2 weeks earlier, he had shaggy hair, had old beat up car that he had to park about 4 houses down because he didn't want me to see it. And he comes in there, and also this time he's got a different coat on. He's got a haircut. He's got a tie on. I never seen him with a tie. And here he was, he talks a little faster, a little more. And I said, Ronnie, how you doing in your business? Are you making any money? And he froze up because all of a sudden he didn't know what to say. He was afraid if I told him that he was making money, he was going to say, well, you're making money off me. Because some people get hung up on that. He tells me he's made $6,500 in his first 4 or 5 weeks. Now, you got to understand, in 1978, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money today.
Yeah.
I said, what? I mean, I like to faint it. I mean, he hit my curiosity button and my greed button. And by the way, he hit
emotions.
Wait a minute. He hit every emotional button in my life. I wanted to choke him. I wanted to kill him. Because how could a little dodo head like him know that and I don't know it? I mean, I was envious. I was every bad emotion. It just hit me. I'm working my butt off. I'm working on the railroad. I'm building I'm doing all this stuff on the side, and I'm not making that kind of money. Mm-hmm. What is this little fool doing? That was the kind of feeling I had. And that recruited me. I mean, he had Mozone and he couldn't spell Mozone. I didn't even know what Mozone was myself then. That's what recruited me. He had an ignorant enthusiasm, which is the most fabulous Mozone that you could ever have. And new people have it a lot better than old people do.
Well, that, I came across some statistic not long ago, and it's basically saying that body language, when it comes to communicating and maybe making people feel, and we can relate it to the Mozone, but it's 55%, body language, 38% tonality, and 7% is what you say. And so, I see these events you put together. I've never seen any company, and I've seen and I've been invited to these different places and things, but nothing really at the level of and the just the whole experience. And I wonder, at the foundation of building a company, it doesn't matter which company you're building. What I want to get from you is that if Mozone, it doesn't matter if you're in computer science or whatever, that Mozone is really required to inspire, motivate your people to dream of bigger things. Just like this story you're telling me about, you're telling us about this gentleman walking into your house and basically pushing every emotional button in you, to cause you to move, cause you to pay attention and look at things in a different way.
He didn't even know he was pushing any buttons. He didn't know I had any buttons. He was accidentally doing what I'm trying to get people to learn how to do on purpose.
Yeah, but now you do it on purpose. And now because maybe at that time you didn't really know, hey, well, this is what Mozone is. You were just reacting. Your natural human emotions were reacting to what he was unknowingly doing to you. And so, but later on, once you understood human nature, then you created the whole culture, right? I mean, we could even talk about culture and how that relates to Mozone, because I think also I've heard it and said many times, and I can see that around the company that you're building, you've got this culture, and all of these companies create this culture around, and it has to do with Mozone. So I think you could probably describe that, what I'm trying to say, a little bit better, because I don't even know if I'm.
You're so excited about it. You've got me intrigued. I want to sign up right now. What are you doing? So, but you mentioned going to some of our events. From the time I had little one-on-one events to just for my first one or two recruits in Macon, Georgia, till we built big out in Denver and all across the country, and we've had events all over the world and had thousands of people. I mean, we've had 35,000 in the Superdome. We had 27,500 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. So we've had this little meetings, big meetings, but they all had the same purpose. It was to create an environment where people could come. Because I found a long time ago, it's just like why people go to church or go to something like that, is that you really are not going to make any major change in your life or any conversion unless you go through some heavy or deep emotional experience or emotional conversion. And that's why you've got to go and have something that changes their feelings, their emotions, get people to change how they feel about things. That's the whole key. Abraham Lincoln said it great one time. He said, "When I feel good, I do good. When I feel bad, I do bad." It's not what you know, it's how you feel that counts. So Mozone is all about making people feel a certain way. And a lot of the things you've seen in our environment, the music, the setting, the ambiance, the staging, whether it's
it blows anybody's mind. I mean, I think and I look at like some of the events that are being put out by some of the social media influencers, and you've been doing this 30 years prior. I mean, you bring in astronauts, and you bring in Super Bowl winners, and you bring in stars like Muhammad Ali. I mean, just looking at those things, I'm like, what? These artists, just bigger than life events, way bigger than I see some of the biggest influencers do even today. And so that obviously was probably fundamental in growing companies at that scale. And this is, by the way, not events that were open up to the public necessarily, but more internal events, right?
Yeah, that's the way I've used Mozone over the years is that we've done it to be self-contained. A lot of companies will recruit a bunch of people, but they don't know anything about Mozone, so they'll say, "I tell you what, we're going to send you to a Tony Robbins event. We're going to send you to Brian Tracy event or a Grant Cardone or some of these social media virtual events, and let them motivate you, and you come on back over here and sell something for me in our company. That's outsourcing your motivation. And these guys are charging you whatever it is to go to their little rah-rah sessions. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they don't. You get all pumped up, and they don't have anything to take you into. In our business, we are self-contained. They
got a lot of products, and I'm not knocking it because there's a lot of good stuff that be in there, but there's no real vehicle.
No, that's a different model. I'm not knocking anything. We've had these guys speak at our meetings, but we are self-contained because we create our own Mozone. Now we bring in outside forces, but once the people get all vision stretched and motivated, they're either in our business or they get into our business. They have a vehicle to do something about what they just got excited about. And so they don't have to get excited and go look for something. They're in our business. It's self-contained. And that was a great principle I learned, and the people that can run businesses like that can do it. I run a hero-making machine. That's really the business I'm in. I got in a business that made me a hero. I wanted to be somebody. Well, this little old business helped me be somebody. And I try to help all the people that want to do something. And recognition is the key. To me, sometimes just giving people your time, just treating people with respect, calling people, encouragement to somebody who's discouraged is the greatest Mozone in the world. It comes at the right time and lifts you up. Or sometimes training, empowering you with a little knowledge or skill that you didn't have, that makes you feel better. When you don't think you know enough, you get anxious, and anxiety is a killer. So you want to kind of, I call it CCC, CPC, constant personal communication. It's encouragement, it's recognition, it's know-how, it's training, whatever it is. It's all in the Mozone world. And when you go to an event, I'll tell you the first little recognition I did ever with my people. When I got into A.L. Williams, I had me about 3 or 4 people, and I wanted to recognize these people. And I didn't have any money. So we all got together there at my house. It was a great setting. My little house had about 1,500 square feet, so it was a small house I'm living in. So I get these people there in my little living room, which is my little office, and they're sitting around, 3 or 4 of them. And I had some bananas. I didn't have any money to buy them an award, but also I had learned this principle from someplace else. But so I gave them. I took a marker, old black marker, and wrote "Top Banana," #1 banana, and I gave it out to these people. So they got recognized for being the best, but they got a top banana award. Now that's Mozone. That's hero making. Now the nice thing about those awards is if you give them a real award, which you should do. That people love awards, they keep them and they put them up on their shelves and they put them on in their meetings. They show them off and they put them on social media now and post them all over the world when they get an award, which is wonderful. Like these rings are awards. So, but back then, it taught people the principle. Say, look, your top banana. Now you go take this award, go put it on your shelf over there, and look at it for a day or two. Then after about 2 days, it starts turning a little brown. Then it gets darker. By the time you go 6-7 days from now, that's a rotten banana up there, and you're going to throw that stinky thing away. You're going to have to go work hard to get you another banana. And you see what I'm saying? It's the principle of...
Yeah, it's like you can't rest on your past. You got the award, great, we celebrate.
And the next one. So in our Mozone, making people heroes by caring about them, teaching them, training them, and have leaderboards where they got to compete, contests and trips they can win. All that stuff is built into this environment, this culture, and it transcends all races, all colors, creeds, you name it, genders, women, men. It makes no difference. They all fight. They think everybody wants to be somebody. So when you sell a dream, it's universal. We opened up our business in Tokyo, Japan. We went to Taipei, Taiwan, and opened up. We went in Manila, in Makati City, in the Philippines. We've been in London. I don't care where you're at. They all wanted a dream. I was selling dreams, and it was accepted in any country. Now, the products and the vehicles and things may change to help them get it, but boy, they want to be somebody, and they want to appreciate it.
Speaking to
so
that,
these are universal things. Just be in that kind of business. I don't care what it is you're marketing. Do that. Just make heroes out of the people. Make them feel special, and they're bonded to you. They're bonded to you, and no matter what they do in life, they're going to always remember you. Because you treated them right. Anyway, that's Mozone's just a wonderful
Hubert, that's
thing.
about all the time we have for today's podcast. And so I want to thank our sponsor, Hegemon Group International. Without them, this podcast would not be possible. And they are in the business of helping people like you and me learn a skill. I learned not long ago that in this country, in order to be able to make a lot of money, you got to provide a lot of value. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. And if you want to learn how to solve big problems for people out there, well, check out the kind of problems that Hegemon Group International can help you, that can teach you how to solve for people. So just go to hgicrusade.com, check out their opportunity. That is hgicrusade.com, or even better, go to hgiopportunity.com. That is a special website that Hegemon Group International put together to condense their opportunity. The place to go is hgiopportunity.com and check out what they have in store for you. And with that being said, Hubert, I will see you on Net Podcast. Thank you so much for all the value you shared today. I'm sure people will find it very, very helpful.
See you later, man.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Warning, this podcast may change the way you think about business, entrepreneurship, and money forever. The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. To be an epic entrepreneur, you must adopt the right mental paradigms as well as master the art of selling, marketing, and finance.